Thoughts on Plantinga's EAAN? Of course, EAAN here stands for the Evolutionary Argument Against Naturalism. I think it's a wonderful argument. If you're unfamiliar, basically it goes something like this. Suppose you're a materialist, so you don't believe in God, and you also believe in evolution by natural selection. You believe that it's true, that that's like how we got here. What does that mean? Well, what does natural selection select for? It selects for survivability, which means that the things which develop because they are beneficial to our survival. We have 5 fingers or 4 fingers and 1 thumb, or 8 fingers and 2 thumbs, because it's beneficial to our survival. It's not because it's like true to have 4 fingers or to have 3 or whatever. It's just beneficial. If you're a materialist, then that means that every single thing about you evolved in this way, including your brain, including your rational faculty, which means that the faculty you're using to reason evolved not to be sensitive to what's true, but just to what's going to make you more likely to survive, which means that when you think 2 plus 2 is 4 is true, it could just be the case that believing 2 plus 2 is 4 is true, is beneficial to our survival, and so everyone who didn't believe this died off, and those who did believe this remained. And that would mean that it's not necessarily true that 2 plus 2 is 4, it just means that believing it's true is beneficial. Of course, this doesn't prove that 2 plus 2 equals 4 is false, it just undercuts the reason that we have to believe that it's true, because the reasoning faculty we're using is not sensitive to truth, it's sensitive to survivability. And so Plantinga specifically points out your belief in evolution by natural selection. He says that, why do you believe in evolution? Oh, because you've looked at the evidence and you've reasoned a conclusion based on the evidence. But the thing is, the truth of evolution undermines the reasoning faculty that you used to get to the truth of evolution. Because you can't really say that that belief is true. You can only say that believing it's true is beneficial to your survival, because that's what your reasoning faculty is. It's just something that, helps you to survive. It's got nothing to do with truth. And so it's sort of an undercutting argument. It's not trying to say that evolution is false. It's not trying to say that there is no truth. It's not trying to say anything like that. What it's trying to say is that if you believe that reasoning leads to truth, then you have to account for the fact that if you're a materialist, your reasoning faculty didn't evolve sensitive to truth. It evolves sensitive to survivability, which is a different thing. Now, of course, many people immediately respond, well, hold on, surely believing true things is beneficial to survival. If we believed a bunch of false facts about the world, then we just wouldn't survive. And so, yeah, sure, the reasoning faculty evolved for survivability, but true things, believing true things, makes us more likely to survive. So what's the problem? The problem is that there are at least some cases in which we can conceive of believing something false being beneficial to our survival. So a common example is to say, well, think about when somebody scares you. If I went into a restaurant or something and just popped a really loud balloon or screeched an air horn, everybody would jump. They would tense up, they'd look around, they'd be scared for at least a second before they realize what had happened. Now, is it true that every time you hear a loud bang, it's a threat? No. But clearly, at least for that first little moment, believing that it's a threat, even just instinctively, believing that it's a threat is beneficial to your survival. Because if it's not a threat, who cares, whatever, you just flinched. But if it is, then you're tensed up and you're ready to go. You're ready for the fight or flight. And so although it's not true that every bang is a threat, it's beneficial to sort of act as though it is. Plantinga points out that a bit like how our bodies just flinch and we kind of can't stop it, even though it's not really sensitive to truth, maybe our reasoning faculties just think that 2 plus 2 equals 4. We kind of can't help it, even though that's not actually sensitive to truth at all. Of course, we'd never be able to know. We can't step outside our own reasoning faculties, right? It's the very thing that I'm using to have this dialogue with you. And by dialogue, I mean responding to your comments on Twitter. But so you might be tempted to say, yeah, sure. I mean, I get the flinching thing, but 2 plus 2 just is 4. I can't conceive, you can't conceive of anything else. But Plantinga's point is that that's because your reasoning faculty is telling you this is how it has to be. But if that reasoning faculty has evolved not to be sensitive to truth, then how can you possibly know that the things it delivers to you, like these answers, 2 plus 2 is 4, are true? And I actually think this is a genius argument. I think it's fun, I think it's fascinating, and I think it, at the very least, means that we need to confront our idea about what truth is and how we can be confident that we have any access to whatever that truth is. I think it demonstrates to us the potential limitations of our brains if they are, in fact, unguided in the result of evolutionary pressures. And I think it puts up a real challenge for people who want to be like realists about truth to say like how we have any epistemic access to that.